little bit about your dad and how important he was for the track over there.
Well, when Northside Downs was kind of a fun kind of a thing, they just had the fair races. He ran the canteen and the triactor pools, and they'd go around with the little brown envelopes, selling triactor pools, and that's how they made their money and paid out people. And everybody seemed happy. He had a corn boil, had a little canteen going there. Everybody seemed happy, and the sport was just a lot of fun.
Cape Bretoners really do love their horse racing, don't they?
Oh, yeah, as you can see, all home week they flock here in the dozens.
Yes, and tell me now about your first horse. I mean, you obviously were involved a lot of times, but kind of who was your first horse that you handled?
The first horse was a horse by the name of Judic Flyer. This was back in 1972, which was quite a while ago. But he won one time. I think it was in 2:17 and 2, and he was the first one that I actually jogged or anything. But my father also had another horse at that time called Sassy Scoot. And he had two of the biggest bow tendons you want to see, and he raced they raced 3 times a week, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and it wouldn't be nothing to see him in Monday and then come back on Saturday and then race the following Thursday after that.
Wow. So sound like a gamer.
Nice old. You know, he wasn't old, but I mean he was old by the time he raced. But I mean he just kept going, game in, night out. He just put every effort into it.
Tell me about your first drive. Was it at Northside or?
No, first drive was at Tartan Downs
okay.
in Sydney, and it was on a Thursday night, and I got a lot of air that night. I finished last.
Okay.
So that was my first night on Thursday night, and then I come back on Saturday night with an old horse called Sandpatch M, and John and Butch McClellan owned it from Sydney Mines, and he went out and he went in 13 and 3, I think it was. And I was 4 wide coming off the turn, and John Ratcher was out in the middle of the racetrack off the paddock turn, and he was saying, no, don't tip him 4 wide, don't tip him 4 wide, but I tipped anyhow. I said I had to win that race. The first one was quite a win.
And that was your first win?
Sandpatch Inn, yeah.
It must have been some exciting in the winner's circle.
Yeah.
Was your family there, your dad and everybody there that night?
My dad was there, but he wasn't out in the winner's circle because he was too busy getting the old horse ready to race himself.
Okay.
So it was that's just the way it was back then. We were racing too many horses at the time, so.
Yeah. It must have been great memories and great to grow up around the track at that point.
Oh, North Sydney was just a fun place, but I mean, then you'd ship over to Tartan Downs in Sydney, and like I said, it was 25-minute, 30-minute drive, and you'd be all psyched up for that drive, and then and by the time you got back home again, it was midnight. So
it just seems like that whole community, and we've touched on it a little bit, but they love racing horses and they love being at the track.
No matter what, like if it's North Sydney, Tartan Downs, Inverness, or wherever, they all they want to do is they want to go to the races, be to the races, and do everything involved with the harness racing, and that, I mean that's a good thing. It's good for the kids. I think it is. My 2 young fellas turned out to be all right through the sport, and I think it's good for everybody.
We're just going to touch on those guys. Colin and Dave are doing very well. Tell us about those guys and where they're racing at these days.
Colin races generally at Flamborough Downs and Western Fair Raceway right now, and he just scored his 222nd win last night, and he's on track to eclipse last year. He had 272 wins last year. And David, he's in Edmonton at the New Century Mile racetrack, and he won the Alberta Marquis for $45,000 last week with a mare named 3-year-old filly named Rockin' Mystery.
Wow!
And he's having an incredible year. His numbers aren't as good as Collins, but he's got 20 some head in his barn, and he's loving every minute of the sport.
You must be proud, Dave, because I mean I know it's hard to race horses anywhere, but to go to Ontario and Alberta to do well, you got to be happy for the boys.
Well, very just the way they broke into the sport and got involved, like Colin, he does do a little bit of jogging or as they call it, riding up there and through the daytime, the odd time. But I mean, he just strictly goes driving 7 nights a week. David, they race twice a week out there, Friday and Sunday in Edmonton. And then they race right till New Year's Eve, and then they shut down and they go back to Calgary for the March. I think it's March the 24th or 25th that they open up again. So
busy guys.
Oh,
busy.
Imagine having 21 horses and and he does his own showing. So
wow. And lucky enough they were here this year, so that was nice that they got to come back to the Maritimes for a home week.
Yeah, David did. I think he might have drove 5 or 6 horses through the week. He had a couple of seconds and whatever else, and just had a good time. And Colin, he just had a good time.
Excellent. I'm glad that they're doing great. And I want to just touch on going back to your career a little bit. We always ask people, you drive a lot of horses, you own a lot of horses, but there's got to be a few that stand out over your career.
Well, like I said, Sassy Scoot was one of the first ones that were kind of an inspiration. I mean, then we had a mare that Albert Bernard picked up for us called Basin View Lisa, and Colin owned her himself, and I drove her, and she won 10 races one year in North Sydney. And then, 3 Steps to Heaven is a nice, classy old horse that we had raced here the last few years, and then, of course, Elm Grove Misty. I mean, she's the barn star, and they don't come along too often. So
No.
we'll enjoy her as long as we can,
Yes,
Peter.
yes, you've had a nice career. I always kind of want to ask people what they enjoy most about the game. Is it just being around the people and getting the horses ready to race every week?
Well, I guess it's around the people. Being in the back end of Earl Smith's barn, it's quite entertaining to be in that barn and get the advice and the pointers and the different tips here and there and whatnot. From him and the quirks. He has quite a few quirks that he'll tell you about this or that person or whatever else. And like anytime you need anything done, ask. You don't even have to really ask. They're there to help you, and it goes a long way. And of course, having the little farm out in Springvale, and Charlene and I have quite a good time out there with the babies and everything else, and the turnouts, and it makes for long days, but we must enjoy it, or we wouldn't be doing it.
Absolutely,
So.
and again, I think the harness racing community in general here in PEI will help one another when it comes to it.
Oh, big time, and I don't think it's just here. I think it's all over the place.
True.
Like listening to David and Colin and what they say, how people help them out in every aspect. It's any part of harness racing. I think they'll step up to the plate for you if you're in need of something or if you need help or doing anything. They're always there for you.
I would agree. And finally, we always ask people about their favorite race, a win. And you're going to take me back a couple of years, and I remember the night because I was working it. But tell us about 2017 in Elm Grove Misty.
Well, Elm Grove Misty is quite like I said. She's quite a little filly. She as a 2-year-old. She the race you're talking about in question was August the 17th, Old Home Week, and David happened to be home for Old Home Week that year, and of course, which was the best part was he had a couple of dollars bet on me, and he made a few dollars. But anyhow, it didn't look like I was going to get Woodmere Wildstyle turning for home, and next thing you know, it was just like she just flew home. I just couldn't believe it. And then to come back the next week, the next month, and she won the richest race at Northside Downs. She's quite a filly.
And that's something going home, winning that race for you.
Well, I went home. It was Memorial Day for my father and my brother and my wife, and at the same time, I had 3 steps to heaven. He won I think it was maybe the 6th race, and then I had the Memorial races in between, and then I had the 9th race when Elm Grove Misty went to the thing, and she won by 5 lengths and in 1:59 new record and everything else. I said, you couldn't write a script.
No.
You couldn't. Hollywood could not do anything like that there. But it was quite a day that day that she won here All Home Week. Just to have the young fellows and all the Cape Bretoners here in the winner's circle with me, it was very, very exciting.
Well, listen, thank you for coming on. I always love going back in time and listening to the stories. I haven't made it to Cape Breton yet. I want to go to the races.
Well,
maybe I'll go with you next summer.
Maybe next summer when we take the 2-year-old. I got a little fella called DC's Hammer and Hankin. Maybe you get to come on a little road trip with us.
Would you mind taking Lee as well?
No problem at all. Lee
right.
Drake anytime.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. We're going to go to the race in 2017. Thanks to Dave Kelly. Here he is winning an Old Home Week 2017 with Elm Grove Misty.
Athletic Sire Stakes, the Horseman's Dance Pace, and the Metro Home Building Center starting gate has them, and Vance Cameron calls them.
A-Division fillies are Silver Hill Misty, Cherry Pop, Woodmere Wild Style, R.E. Chablis, Tobin's Terror, Elm Grove Misty, Woodmere Cello. They're at the top of the stretch. Now approaching a start. Off stride on the outside is Woodmere Cello. There they go. Off and pacing that out by Cherry Pop. Silver Hill Misty is second. R.E. Chablis will be third into the turn. Woodmere Wild Style got away fourth. Then in fifth, it's Elm Grove Misty. Rounding the turn sixth, Tobin's Terror. And on the outside, Woodmere Cello seventh. Up the backstretch they go. Cherry Pop on top. Here's early company coming. R.E. Chablis will take the lead. In line to Mike McGuigan. Cherry Pop will release her to get the 2-hole ride. All alone in third is Silver Hill Misty. Fourth at the rail is Woodmere Wild Style. 29 and 3 was the quarter. Racing from fifth is Elm Grove Misty. 6 on the outside is Woodmere Cello. Trailing the field, Tobin's Terror is seventh. Off the turn they come down the stretch. The opening half mile is next. R.E. Chablis the leader. Cherry Pop is second. Silver Hill Misty third. Here comes Woodmere Wild Style. Starting fourth on the outside. Woodmere Cello picks up the cover now. On the outside fifth. Elm Grove Misty going to the outside sixth. Tobin's Terror the trailer. 1 minute and 3 was the half mile. Over to the 5/8 pole. R.E. Chabot, the leader. Woodmere, Wild Style on the outside, now second. Cherry Pop at the rail third. Woodmere Java moving fourth on the outside. Elm Grove Misty takes fifth. Then in sixth, it's Silver Hill Misty. And the trailer, that is Tobin's Terror. They go by three-quarters. R.E. Chabot still there. Woodmere Wild Style now second. Woodmere Chella there third. Elm Grove Misty is coming fourth. Three-quarters in 1:30 and 4. They're homeward bound. R.E. Chabot, Woodmere Wild Style, Elm Grove Misty on the outside. Deep stretch now, and it's Woodmere Wild Style, Elm Grove Misty on the far outside. Might have got there. We need a win photo. 2 minutes, 1/5.
A bang-bang stirring finish here. Woodmere Wildstyle with that game first over bounce back effort might have atoned as the beaten favorite last out. Elm Grove Misty from the far outside, 3 wide bid. Sterling rally from that one. And as Vance Cameron mentioned, we need a photo.
We sure do, and wow, what a tight finish here. Ari Shabley, you can see, is under pressure here late, and the 4 who came first up here tonight raced large. Woodmere Wildstyle, you can see with Mackenzie in the middle, and on the far outside, Elm Grove Misty and Dave Kelly, they're coming flying on the end of this. It is tight at the wire, still not posted here for the win, as the 4 and the 7 are going to battle it out right to the wire here tonight. You can see the 7 trying to reach up right at the end here to get the victory. It is tight on the wire. We will wait for the official result between Woodmere Wildstyle and Elm Grove Misty.
This has been a special presentation. The Inside Track was presented by Red Shores.
The first race, Pacers and their driver entering the track for the post parade. Number 1, Better in Cash, is owned by Kevin Harvey of Hammond Plains, Nova Scotia. Kenny Arsenault training and driving. 2 is Jimmy Blaze. The owners are Kendra Holroyd, Suzanne Ramsey, and Emma Murray. Mark Bradley trains and drives. 3 is Bring It Home Will, owned by Brandon Allen Smith. Brad Smith training and driving. 4 Sunny's Dream, owned by Michael McDonald of Brennan Bridge, GWR Visser Farm of Orwell. Michael leaves the trainer. Mark Campbell drives. 5 is PJ's Devil. Philip Kelly, North Wilshire, the owner-trainer, driven by Kenny Murphy. 6 is Whipple Effect, owned by Reg McPherson, David and Aaron McKenzie, trained by Kevin McLean, Mike McGuigan driving. 4 minutes wagering time on the first. Let's go to the broadcast desk with my co-host Peter McPhee to set up the afternoon's card.
Thank you very much, Vance. And good-looking card here this afternoon. 12 dashes on the program. I think race number 9, will be hitting on the Best Risque Memorial for open mares here this afternoon. The Time to Win, Dre's Good Powwow, West River Amber, Imagine Speed, Geordie's Hope, and Traces of Purple. That's the field in race number 6. It is the Best Risque Memorial for open mares. Comes up in race number 9 today. Okay, 3 minutes to go here before race number 1 this afternoon, and let's set up the conditions here fast and 8 as we get underway here this afternoon. And we're looking at the 6 in here, and that's Whipple Effect for Mike McGuigan here this afternoon. And you can see Whipple Effect this year does have the 17 starts. Still looking for that first win. Does have a couple of seconds and 5/3. And this horse is paced around 2 minutes. You see, if you go down the chart lines here, you can see back on August the 31st there on the non-winners of 1. Almost got the job done. Second, just beaten half a length. 2-1 and 2 closed out 29 and 2. And then if you go 2 back in Summerside on the 29th, good effort there. Left from 2, finished 3rd, 2 minutes 3/5. Spack Jarrow, Ocean View Helios.